Kindness sounds so beautiful. It's delicious. Acts of kindness. What could ever be wrong with doing an act of kindness? I mean, it's positive. It feels good. It's doing good for someone else. So it must be always good. The truth of the matter is, kindness is very tricky. Kindness is chesed in Hebrew. Chesed is doing something for someone else because this is what somebody else likes. It's not necessarily what we feel like doing. There was a dilemma I had once. I wanted to pray, and I was praying, engaged in personal prayer. And in comes my husband, coming home unexpectedly. It was during the weekend, probably on a Sunday. And I wasn't aware what time he's coming, but I wanted to pray. I was in the middle of praying. Now, what am I supposed to do? Here I am engaged in prayer, something I love to do. And it's my intimate relationship with Hashem, our God. And in comes my husband. Obviously, he's hungry. And I wasn't sure what I was supposed to do. But I learned that I was supposed to stop praying. Stop praying for that moment. And today we're going to learn why. Chesed is a series of concentric circles. The first inner circle is one's own immediate family. Immediate family, whether it's your mother or father who you live with, whether it's your husband and your children. It's your own immediate family. Then the concentric circle widens, and it's your relatives, your friends, and maybe it's your neighbors. And then it's everybody else, maybe it's the community. So that's the order of chesed. But it's not so easy to make a decision sometimes. You want to be helpful. You feel bad for people. You feel like you have a talent, and you are given this opportunity to fulfill this talent, to do the will of Hashem. It sounds really interesting. It sounds really good. It sounds like you're doing the right thing. But often than not, it's the wrong thing. And we as women want to do good. Our intention is to do good. But unfortunately, we make a mistake with chesed sometimes. And today we're going to have a clearer picture. If there is a conflict with two opportunities, doing chesed for our home or doing chesed for the wider concentric circles, which is your friends, your relatives, one should always do chesed for the home first. In other words, if somebody in your immediate family, your husband, your children, your mother, your father, who you live with, needs something from you, let's say it's you live with your husband and children, then those people's needs comes first. Everybody else's needs can wait. They're not so as important as your husband's needs and your children's needs. You have to be absolutely sure that you are not neglecting your husband and your children. If, of course, suddenly an opportunity arises where you have on your block an old lady who needs her shopping brought into the house or help carrying something, yes, of course, take that opportunity to do so. It's not going to hurt the children or the husband. It's not going to take a lot of time, and you'll be able to do both. Cater to the needs of the family, your immediate family, and of course, those of the wider community, such as this old lady. So in this way, it doesn't hurt anyone. But we're going to look at 3 other more difficult examples. Example number 1. You are asked to bake a cake for an engagement party, and you are amazing at baking cakes. You have this incredible talent, and this is an opportunity to make this beautiful cake for someone who can't really buy a cake, maybe, who you feel bad for. This is an opportunity for you to be so much more helpful, and you want to do good, and you're available, you have the time. And that evening, you of course need to make dinner for your husband. And you're thinking to yourself, oh, he'll be okay. Just this one night, I'll make him a turkey sandwich. This is what the wife is thinking. Just this, he'll be okay. I make him gourmet dinner every single night. But this one night, he should understand. Now, this is where the wife can go wrong. If the husband did not give her approval that it's okay that he has a cold sandwich, some cold food that night for this one time, then this chesed she can do with his express approval and permission. Now, I don't mean to sound as though the wife doesn't have a mind of her own, as though she's unintelligent, as though she's a child seeking permission. No. A relationship, a marital relationship, is so sacred and beautiful. The husband needs to be respected. And this is where we can be confused. Hey, I'm intelligent. I went to college. I was brought up well. Why do I need to ask his permission? In a marriage, in a Jewish holy marriage, we need to make sure that our husbands are respected. And we don't have the upper hand in all the decisions. He has the upper hand. We voice our concerns. We voice our opinions calmly. But he's the one who has the last word. Yes, he loves you. Yes, he respects you. And you are going to have input in the decision. But don't make it look like you're having the last word or it's all up to you. As a wife, we need to respect our husbands. Respect to our husbands is his oxygen. Without communicating with respect to our husband, and this is a great reinforcement for any marriage, including my own, reinforcement of respecting our husbands, giving them that kavod, that honor. It means that you are respecting their decision, whether you like it, whether you don't. It doesn't mean you go along with their decision, but you are being respectful. Unless your husband is totally okay with you making that gorgeous cake and he's eating a cold turkey sandwich, unless he's okay with that, then it's probably not okay for you to do the chesed of baking the cake. Moreover, what you can do probably is buy the cake, is help them buy the cake. Maybe you'll help sponsor it. It's not okay for you to do that cake. That friend or relative will have to be told, sorry, you won't be able to take care of it. Example number 2. A very common source of conflict is when a wife wants to have guests over and the husband doesn't. We usually have it on Shabbat. Jewish people usually have it on Shabbat, where we have guests, Friday night, Saturday afternoon. So there was a story of a man in his 70s who approached Rabbi David Kaplan, and he said, my wife loves having guests. We have, our kids have, gave us so many grandchildren, thank God, I'm so grateful. And we have lots of grandchildren. And my wife said, we have to have at least one of our children and their kids over for Shabbat once a week. We have to have. Now, maybe she feels bad that she's a grandma, she doesn't invite, or she needs to give that kind of attention. But her husband does not want a chaotic Shabbos. He wants a calm Shabbat. And maybe he wants a calm Shabbat on a daily basis. Then this is what she will have to do. She will have to be okay with not having her children over and grandchildren every Shabbat. Or maybe it could be less often because the husband may want to have a calm Shabbat all the time. So his needs come first. Her husband is her immediate family. Now that her children got married off, he's the number one for her. We as women, the most important people in our lives are our husbands. Even when we have little kids. Our little kids, they're important, but to make sure that we nurture our relationship with our husbands. And the biggest gift you can give to your kids is showing the shalom between you and your husband. It doesn't matter what the issue is at hand, the kids will remember how the mom and dad acted to each other. More than they'll remember if they actually gave in to sending them to camp or buying them that toy or sending them to that sleepover. They will remember the interaction with the husband and wife more more than ever, more than anything else. So we must remember that a kosher wife is the one who does the will of her husband. That is what our sages teach us. Example number 3. This is also very common. You cooked and you baked and you told your husband, you told your children, nobody eat this apple pie. I made it for the family we're going to on Saturday. We're having a kiddush and a get together. I made this pie for them. Please don't eat it. So comes Thursday night, you cooked already, you baked, and your husband is raiding the fridge after coming home late. And he's raiding the fridge and he looks at your apple pie and it's looking delicious. And he wants to eat it. And you're telling him, I want to make it for the Johnson family, let's say. I want to make it for the Johnsons. And he wants to eat that pie. Now, if he's okay with eating something else, tuna and crackers, or satisfying his hunger in other ways, or his sweet tooth in other ways, fine. But if he really wants to have that pie, or he ate the pie by forgetting that you said, please leave the pie for the Johnsons. If he did it anyway, it's not worth it for us to get bent out of shape and say, I told you so, and I put a label in the fridge saying, please don't eat it, do not eat, do not touch. It all comes down to you baking another pie or buying an apple pie if you don't have time. So his needs comes first. We need to communicate that with our husbands through our actions and through our words, because that is true chesed. Chesed is for the house. Chesed starts in the home. Our acts of kindness start in the home. And yes, we may say to ourselves, and we may think, oh, but it's sometimes can he just, yes, he can, but were you talking about it with him being okay with it? And if your husband is less stubborn or more stubborn, then that's the way his character is, and we have to really work with it, because this person is perfect for us. If we walk down the chuppah, down the marriage canopy with our husband, he's perfect for us, and we need to work on our character through this marriage. So marriage is two imperfect people trying to make it, trying to improve themselves and their character. And it all comes with respecting our husbands, as I mentioned earlier, giving him that kavod, giving them the respect that he needs. There was, in the Midrash, there was a girl who was having a conversation with her mother. And she was about to get married. And this is the advice that her mother gave her. Her mother told her, if you act as a servant and treat him as a king, then he'll act as a servant and treat you like royalty. But if you lord yourself over him, he'll treat you as a servant. In other words, let's not act like we're maid servants. Let's act like the queen that we were meant to be. And when we act like a queen, we act with dignity. And this way, other people also treat us with dignity and respect. And I want to finish off with this short story. There was a story of a couple who were celebrating their 50th marriage anniversary. And they were celebrating with their grandchildren, with their children, and they were eating at a restaurant. And as the waiter is serving them food, he's asking them, what kind of meat would you like? He's asking them. The caterer is providing the delicious meal. The wife chooses a piece of dark chicken. One of the grandchildren, who happened to be next to them, asked, Grandma, why are you taking the dark chicken? Every time we've been over your house for Shabbat, you always take the white part. And the grandma answered, the truth is, I prefer dark meat, but I know that your grandpa also prefers dark meat. So 50 years I've been eating white meat. The grandpa said, well, actually I prefer the white meat, and for 50 years I've been taking the dark meat because I thought that you liked white meat. No one else said anything for a moment. Then I guess you both lost, said the grandchild. No, they said together in unison. we both won. Why did they both win? They both won because they saw the marriage as a journey. It's a journey of two people sacrificing, making their efforts, putting their all in to create a successful marriage. And they became the biggest winners in the most important area of life, of marriage. And if you're not married yet, whatever your relationship is, whether you're living with your parents, whether you're living with an uncle, an aunt, a husband and children, your immediate family is the most important area in your life. May we be successful in doing kindness for the right reasons because we want our kindness to count. Let's make it count because it counts first with our most inner circle, our most important circle, our family and our children, the people who we live with. Let's not neglect their needs. And if we can't attend to their needs, to do it first before we do kindness for other people. I want to appreciate the insights of the book called My Husband, My King by David Kaplan, Leah Abramov, Being and Becoming, Awakening Awareness of Your Greatness and Potential.